Hi everybody, May Hernan here, and I promised I would video the next time I was going to make boxty. Okay, so I've done so much already because I don't want to waste time doing it. What I did was I got 4 potatoes, that size, okay, and I cut them in thirds like that. And the only reason I did that was to make it easy for me to handle it. So I did it like that, okay. And I took one. You get a grater like that. Now you have one side that slices, but you have the other sides that grate. And this is the side you want to use. You need to be very careful because you can rip the fingers off yourself. Now, as you can see, I have 3 large potatoes in here already. I'm going to only scrape a little bit of the 4th one because I'm going to boil the other. And that's personal, that's for dinner tonight. So, okay, I'm going to scrape. I'm taking this and I'm going to scrape it. You have to be very careful. You have to be very careful that you don't catch your fingers. Now, this is an old recipe my father used to have us make when he was alive, God rest his soul. It's a very simple way of making boxty. I'm sure people have kind of developed different recipes for it, but I have stuck to this one because I happen to like the simplicity of it and I like the taste of it. Now I fry this in a hot pan when I have my flour and salt in it, and that's all it is. It's scraped, grated potatoes, flour, white flour, and salt. And the trick to making good boxty, the way I'm making it here, is the amount of salt you put in it. So you're getting down to the very end of the potato now, the part that you're scraping. You have to be very careful because at this stage you could literally cut the fingers off yourself. Potato cakes, on the other hand, somebody said something about potato cakes. Potato cakes are boiled potatoes, boiled and mashed potatoes with flour and salt and egg and everything like that. But this is, and just put your hand inside and just pull out the inside. So that's all I'm going to do with that. That's how you scrape it. As I said, I used 4 big potatoes, but I didn't actually. I only used 3 big potatoes really. And with that, you can see how much I've got. Now this is what it looks like. Wait till I just dry the hands and pick up the phone and I'll show you what it looks like. That is what it looks like. Okay, that's just the potatoes grated. You'll see that they'll go a little bit off colour, but don't worry about that. So I'm going to just, as you can see, I'm going to just mix that around. Now, I am going to take my flour. I don't have any fancy flour things. This is just where I keep my flour in a rice. I'm going to get 2, maybe 3 spoons of that because I have so much there, I think. All right, I'm going to put in 2 of those and we'll see how it mixes. You don't need it to be solid. It doesn't need to be solid. It has to be where you can manipulate it on the pan and flatten it down. But the potato or the flour keeps the potato together. And I'm just mixing that up now. And you see, this is why I find it very hard to write this recipe, because it's really more of how it looks and how it feels than writing it. This is what it looks like now. I think there's still a little bit of water there. It's very, very watery. So I'm going to put another heaped teaspoonful in that. Now, that should be enough. Now, and mix that up. Okay. Make sure that all the flour is mixed in with the potato. At this stage you can nearly put on your pan and get it heating. Your pan needs to be very hot. So I'm going to put it on at 8. Leave it there. Let it heat up the plate. And just make sure that all the flour is mixed in. I'm putting salt on my hand. About a teaspoonful. But again, what I will do is I will take a little bit of this, I'll put it on the pan, I'll taste it, and if I need more salt, I'll put more salt in. So I'll just, and actually, that would be about a teaspoonful. Mix it all up again. And I'll show you what it'll look like just before you put it on the pan. I have a funny feeling I might need more salt. So we'll give you a look at what it looks like now. Right now. That's what it looks like. It's kind of watery, if you know what I mean. It's not solid. That's the texture it needs to be. And actually, you could need, even if you wanted to, you could put even a little bit more flour into it. I'm going to put a little piece on the pan and see how it goes. And I'll show you how to cook it on the pan. All right, that's what we do. I don't put it into a baking sheet or anything like that. I just fry it on the pan. Now we'll turn on the light here. And put plenty of oil on the pan as well. Actually, you know something? I think I'm going to put a little bit more flour into it. Again, it is. So that is 4 spoons of flour when you have this much potatoes. Okay? And especially, you see, it depends as well on if your potatoes are watery or if they're floury, or, you know, you will know yourself. It does not need to be very watery. It doesn't need to be like dough either. It needs to be able to be where you can put it on the pan and you can flatten it down. And it's nice always to have a thinner mixture. Okay. I think that should do it. Now I'm going to bring it over to the pan. I'll bring you over to the pan. Okay, let's see. Okay. Now the oil should be hot. Okay. I'm going to get a bigger spoon actually. I'm going to bring you again. It's obvious that I'm not one of these cooks that go on television all the time, and because I'm all over the place with this. But however, you'll get the idea. I'm going to take a big spoon. You can see that. And put it. And just flatten it down a little bit. Now this is, I'm only doing this at that. You can fill the whole pan if you wanted to. You could put all the mixture on the full pan and cook it. I'm only checking to see if I have enough salt in that. So as soon as that is cooked, I'm just going to take it out, put plenty of butter on it, and then taste it. If I think that there's not enough salt in it, I'll put a little bit more salt in it before I go ahead. And as it's cooking, you can see it there. You leave it on. Just see. You don't turn it at all yet for a while. And again, as I said to you, this is our recipe. This is the recipe that I've always had, and my father before me used to cook it in this recipe. Some people might do other things with it. They might put other stuff into it. I personally like this. This is very plain, simple. My husband actually loves this for the morning breakfast. I'll have it cook. I'll cook it all. You have to cook it all because the mixture would go black if you didn't. So I would cook it all, and then we can reheat it in the morning. We can put it on the pan again, and he loves it with maple syrup. I personally wouldn't put maple syrup on it. I just like it with plenty of butter. Just put it on the pan, reheat it, and then take it out and put plenty of butter. But then again, you know, different people have different tastes, and some people. Now, I'm just going to show you. 1 second. That pan, I might be having a problem. Yeah, I'm having a problem with that pan. I'm going to get another pan. Sorry about that, guys, because it's sticking on that pan. And we don't need it to stick. That's not what we're about at all. Wait till you see. Here we go. And the crust is coming off it on that pan, so we'll have to use this one. Now, we're going to put it on the pan when the oil is hot enough. Okay, I'm going to show you. I used a bigger spoon, and this is just simply, I'm checking to see if I have enough salt in it. So I'm going to flatten it out a little bit. Now normally, you can fill the whole pan with the mixture if you want, or you can just make little cakes like this. You leave it there, and you start to see it. It won't do it yet for a minute, but you start to see it getting a different colour. You can see it from the edges if the light is any good, if you can see it. Can you see it on the pan? Okay. You start to see the edges slightly greyer colour than the middle. And you have to wait until that grey colour is kind of on the pan. We turn it down a little bit to 6. The oil has to be really hot when you put this in first. Now you can see how it's cooking through, and we'll just have it. We'll turn it around for a minute. Can you see how it's different colours? Now, as I said, different people have different recipes. This one is an old one that my father used to have. I would take this out when it's done, and I'll put butter on it and I taste it. And if it's good, and if I don't need any more salt, I'll just keep on cooking. I'll cook all of it. You can't leave this to sit and cook it later on, because the potatoes will go black and it just doesn't look right. I'm just turning this around again. Make sure you have oil on the pan, plenty of oil on the pan, and that the pan is hot enough. Maybe 6 or 7. You don't want the oil to burn either. I happen to be using keto blend, but olive oil is good as well, or coconut oil would work. You see, it's beginning to get nice and golden looking now. So I'll wait and you know, you get it good and golden and nice and crispy. That's the joy of it. But it's really nice to cook it and then reheat it the next day. I'm just going to get one of my chip plates. I don't want to throw it out because I've had it for so long and it's very, very badly chipped. I'm going to turn this around again. You can see it's getting really nice now. And I'll taste it and see if there's enough salt in it. If there's not, I'll put more salt in. If there is, I'll just keep on cooking. I'll cook the whole lot. I'll make full pan size potato cakes. There you go. Turn it around and it's nice and crispy. There it is, that's a nice one. So I'll just take it off the heat for a minute. I will get off any oil that's in it. And now is the time that I decide whether it needs more salt or not. As in salt. So for people who have not ever heard of this before, I am making Boxty. I made it a few weeks ago and I posted the photographs of it when I had it cooked on Sligo Broad page. What did I just say? Smells. Very nice. So I'm going to put more on the pan. I'll show you what I'm going to do now. This is a very, very old recipe. I suppose when people in Ireland didn't have anything else to eat, they had the potatoes, you know. And there are all sorts of different ingenious ways of cooking potato. So this was one of the ways. And this is how thin it is. It's that thin. See? And it's nice and crispy. So you can cook that and leave it in the fridge, and the next morning then take it out. Or you could have it for breakfast, you could have it for afternoon, you could have it for dinner. I don't care. I'm going to cook it now, and later on I might eat some more of it, but it's nice. So, if you make it or you attempt to make it, let me know how you got on. Okay? I hope you enjoy. Bye.